Sometimes in these huge epic stories about nations rising and falling, you find these tiny, intensely personal messages that just stop you in your tracks. Today, we're going to dive into one of those. It's a single short chapter from the book of Jeremiah, basically a private conversation between God and a man named Baruch, who's caught right in the middle of a national meltdown. Okay, so let's set the scene. The year is 605 BC. The kingdom of Judah is, well, it's teetering right on the edge of a cliff. A brand new superpower is showing up on the world stage, and absolutely everything is about to change. And this isn't just some political shuffle. For the people living through it, it feels like the end of the world. So, to really understand one man's personal crisis, we first have to get our heads around the massive catastrophe that was unfolding all around him. This is the world that the prophet Jeremiah and his scribe, Baruch, were living in. This timeline really just charts the whole downward spiral. I mean, Jeremiah had been warning people for over 20 years at this point. But 605 BC, that was the real tipping point. That's when Babylon became the undisputed heavyweight champion of the region, and the destruction of Jerusalem was no longer a question of if, but when. So here are the main players in this whole drama. You've got a kingdom in freefall, a king who's completely defiant, and this unstoppable force, the Babylonian Empire. And right in the middle of it all, you have Jeremiah, the guy screaming, "Danger!" And right there beside him, writing down every single word of doom, is the man we're focused on today, Baruch. All right, so we've seen the big picture, the storm clouds gathering on a national scale. Now let's zoom all the way in and look at the personal struggle of the man whose job it was to write down all of this terrible news. First off, you gotta understand that Baruch wasn't just taking dictation. He wasn't some intern. He was a professional, a true partner in Jeremiah's mission. Now, just think about the emotional toll of that job. Every single day, he's writing down these terrifying prophecies of destruction, invasion, and exile. He knows every last horrible detail of the disaster that's coming. And this is his breaking point. He just cries out, "Woe is me now." This is so much more than just having a bad day. This is a complete spiritual and emotional collapse. He feels like all his faithful work has just brought him more pain, and he is just exhausted. He cannot find any rest. It's really the perfect way to put it. The sheer weight of the message had literally crushed the messenger. Baruch was completely overwhelmed, totally exhausted, and he felt like all his service to God had just led him down a dead-end street of sorrow. But then, something amazing happens. God responds directly to him. And he doesn't just say, "Hey, toughen up, buddy." No. Instead, he takes Baruch's very real personal pain and puts it inside a much, much bigger frame. I mean, just look at the shift here. It's like night and day. Baruch is completely focused inward on his sorrow, his pain. He's saying, "Woe is me." But God pulls the camera way, way back to the entire landscape. He's talking about this whole land. It is a radical, almost jarring change in perspective. And here is God's powerful declaration. "Listen, I'm the one who built this nation, and I am the one who is now taking it apart." Wow. This puts Baruch's suffering into this massive cosmic context. His pain isn't just random. It's a small piece of a huge historic event that's happening to everyone. Okay, so now we get to the absolute heart of the message. After setting this huge stage, God pivots from explaining the big picture to addressing the root cause of Baruch's despair, his own hidden ambitions. This is the question that cuts right through everything. Are you seeking great things for yourself? And, let's be honest, this isn't necessarily about him being greedy. I mean, when your world is falling apart, who wouldn't want a little security? A sense that all your hard work and faithfulness will be rewarded. He's just looking for a safe harbor in a hurricane. The answer he gets is so direct, so simple, and it is absolutely unambiguous. Seek them not. Period. It's a full stop. Let those ambitions go. What God is teaching Baruch here is that his personal priorities, as understandable as they might be, are totally out of sync with reality. When an entire nation is going through judgment, clinging to your own hopes of personal gain isn't just unrealistic, it kind of misses the entire point of what's happening. But God doesn't just leave Baruch with a no. I mean, that would be pretty harsh, right? He actually replaces those broken ambitions with a new, much more sober and yet incredibly profound promise. He completely redefines what it means to win. Now, the imagery of this phrase is just fascinating. The original language talks about getting something as spoil or as prey, which is stuff you seize in a battle. God is basically saying the only prize you are going to escape this war with is your life. Not wealth, not status, just your survival. And believe me, in this situation, that is an incredible gift. The contrast here is just crystal clear. Baruch was looking for great things, maybe some status, a little honor, some rest, and God replaces all of that with a single precious promise, life itself. The whole goal shifts from personal advancement to just simple personal preservation. And what's amazing is that history shows us God kept his word. The calamity came, just like Jeremiah and Baruch had written it would. Babylon came in and destroyed the kingdom. But somewhere in all that chaos, Baruch survived. That promise, made to one man in his moment of total despair, was faithfully kept. So what does this ancient story have to say to us today? Well, for one, it shows that God sees our individual pain, even when there are huge global crises going on. It shows that being faithful doesn't always mean you'll have an easy life. And maybe most importantly, in those truly hard times, our definition of a win might need to change, from seeking greatness to just being profoundly grateful for survival. And that really leaves us with a question to chew on, doesn't it? When we face our own storms, personal or collective, what are the great things we find ourselves chasing after for ourselves? And what would it look like to just let those go and instead see the gift of just getting through it as the ultimate prize?